These glasses is okay. Hi. Even for an expert in all the essential point of the generation and perfection phase, even like an expert about the essential point of the generation and perfections, and that is the most important path, and you like kind of the how much you can manage or how much you understand through the mindfulness, vigilance, mindfulness, all to remember the process of the generation, the process of the perfections phase. Vigilance each moment when you are meditating, generation stage or the perfections stage, and correct. There's no interrupted during the meditation or the recitations, and so on. Has avoid committing the fault of the violation, the samayas. And maybe you are quite very good expert, you quite very attentively to follow this two path of the generation, path of the perfections. And also it's like you avoid it, you never felt any violation of the samayas. It is still necessary to practice Vajrasattva mentors, very important, to preserve in confession and purifications. It's very much necessary to preserve your daily practice, maybe 21 or one malas recitation and confessions of the Vajrasattvas. Why? Which kind of reasons? And here is saying, for in fact, any kind of contact through word or the deed with some who has violated the root samayas. This is like kind of problem. Even just drink the water of the same valley is cannot to engender the faults known as violation through contact or occasionally violations. This is, of course, maybe we are good expert and good attentive person, and we follow up the generation stage and dissolution of the affections very well. You your own self, probably you never violated any kind of the samaya broken or samayas. But in fact, there is sometimes some other sanghas, some others, maybe they are broken samayas, who has violated the root, like maybe against their own teachers, and this sort of, it's really dangerous. Even just like this Samaya brokens living on the up of the valley. And then through this valley is coming water. You living in the below the valley. If you drink water, can affect to you. Like the same valley, it is enough to engender the permeate the faults known as the violation can occur through this contact, and therefore we like kind of need to keep like preserved in confession and purifications. Like occasionally this kind of violations can affect. And then this like kind of, there is a Tantra says, this in miracle confessions Tantra, practice fulfillment and confession to an ocean of the earth-bound protector by the Rinzan Jigme Limbas. This inside this quotation, maybe Masha she added. And what it is saying, having associated with the transgressor or gratified they wish. What does it mean? If you are like associated with someone violated the root samayas, or maybe those like kind of the you gratitude means they ask to you something, you fulfilled that. Also is like kind of affect to ourselves, also violation of the samayas. And having explained the Dharma to them, who is like violated the root samayas, or those unfit to hear it. Unfit to hear it means this kind of like evil, or I don't know, the samaya brokens. You cannot teach the Dharma. And if you do like this, it's affect to you. Very dangerous and risk, they say. And also it's like having not avoid all the transgressions. We know we too have been contaminated. If you are make association, or maybe someone is like never to care about the transgressors. Transgress like source means the person. You make a friend, you talk, you eat together something. And maybe also sometimes like against your teachers. Maybe this person also is criticized, but you kind of, yeah, you are right, that's a true agreement. If this sort of associations is a very dangerous thing. It's easily to contaminated. Therefore, said by the obscuration of those transgressions, we are naturally receive the violation root samayas affect the obscuration, And that is like kind of need to confess. Therefore, we need to continue daily practice confessions. And if we like this happened, it's bring adversity in this life, sometimes a lot of problems, and obscure in the next life. And like sometimes if we do samaya broken and we make association others, we make problem others. Other someone's broken, we make like this kind of the problems. Full of the regret, all this mistake, we expose and confess. It is the necessary step. If just one person in an assembly has violated the samayas, the other 100 or the 1,000 people who have all kept their own commitment will be contaminated to the point that they will receive to the benefit from their practice. No benefits. For example, when you make assemblies, if inside one is like kind of the broken samayas person, violates, and then it's like only one single person to make the contaminated 100 or 1,000. Then it's like your practice together is never ever successful. Receive no benefit from their practice. That is like kind of like this. It is like a single drop of the sour milk turning a whole pot of the fresh milk sour. Maybe that is better to take it. This is examples. Maybe we have 100 pure milk, and we can to put like this amount of spoon, 1 spoon of the sour milk put inside. Then this whole milk is be sour. It's not anymore pure milk. Like exactly like this. Or 1 frog infested with sores, infecting all the others around it. Infested means like kind of the permeated. Sore is like kind of sores. Is some frog is some damaged. We say it's like a frog is something damaged. You send back to water. They never recovered. They died, but before they die, is this wound is become the sick and then give to other. Whoever this in the water frog, all other frog they die. And therefore like kind of one is like sourced frogs infect to all others. Like this, here is the source frog is the samaya brokens. 200,000 other frog of the sanghas can make source. This is also in this confession sutta says, as this is said, 1 drop of the sour milk turn all the milk is sour. 1 generated yogis, violated samayas, broken samayas. 1 yogi spoil all the other yogis. It can to damage, like kind of the affect samaya violations. And what is the more? There is not a single teacher even if is great Lama or a Siddha, who can escape this sort of contamination by the Samaya violations. Even the kind of authentic teachers, like kind of the uncomplacement siddhis, this kind of the single they are cannot to run escaped from this defection comes from the Samaya violations, contaminations. For instance, the story of the great teacher Lingye Rinpoche. Lingye Rinpoche bears. And Lingye Rinpoche is the first founder tradition of the Drupakajap. This out while he was in the secret place of the Tsari in the central Tibet, there's in Jigme Limbas area. Then Dakini Shinshon started to create obstacle for him. In the middle of the day, she brought down a darkness to profound that the star came out and shone brightly in the skies. Like during in the middays, a certainly kind of magic illusion or some obstacles Ndaki Shinshon to the Lingye Rinpoche. Lingye Rinpoche's great Mahasiddhi. Of course, nothing, no problem. Yet nothing could stop him to continue practicing, teaching the banks of the dark red blood lakes. There is one is like a Dakini's lake in the Tsari, where he danced to the Vajrasatttva, Lingye Rinpoche. Heavy foot paintings, still there we can to see it. In the solid rock that can still be seen like these days there. This sort of Mahasiddhi, extraordinary masters. But nevertheless, later, in his life, he was visited by a disciple who had broken the Samayas. And even such an uncompleted master could still be contaminated. He became delirious and lost the power of his speech. He became very strange, delirious, like kind of foggy. And according to this, maybe some student broken Samaya. Later something is like visited. This kind of the violation Samayas, obscurations, defects to even the himself. He become the delirious and he become the mute, cannot talk. And then, of course, he passed away. And the same way, in Tibet, most intelligent, like Machushir, manifested in the human form of the Mohan Rinpoche. Also, his one disciples broken Samaya. Later, he won't regret. Of course, some student doesn't want to come, but secretly he came, and Rinpoche accepted. But at that moment, absolutely become the power of, lost the power of the speech, be silent, no anymore teaching. And according to that, he's passed away. It's like kind of Samaya violation. It's quite very strong. We need to know about that. Then we don't need to violate our Samayas. As I say, it's like kind of why you need to kind of, you have problems. You choose to say very kindly. You don't need to go follow. And even many Buddhist countries, first time you follow, second sometimes something, you choose to like kind of the practice pure perception, put a lot of faith, then you don't need to shift, you can to choose another Lama. Now sometimes we're doing like kind of, when we are happy, almost at eating, like kind of the, like this, and certainly something, then we criticize, angry, like this. This may be not necessary. If we received some empowerment teachings, then it's not good. Of course, we haven't got any connections, then not businesses. Then nothing, no problem. But this kind of very important for us to have this sort of information. And maybe it's like kind of the samayas. It's not easily broken. For instance, sometimes students like we can angry, but many masters, really great master compassion, they never angry. If they never angry, they never almost broken the samayas. But both the angry and like kind of then is maybe samaya broken. But it's like kind of the, we are like kind of the best enemy is the probably, I would to say, the lamas. You confess, 100% is accept. They give our best. But we are against it, maybe not very good. Then it's why not? For example, we say as parents, if we make enemy our parents, of course there is. Never become the peaceful. But you confess, say sorry, mommy, daddy, maybe become immediately accept. There's such a kind of they can give for us forgiveness. Therefore, sometimes we make mistake, confess, 100% surely qualify master. They never keep their forgiveness. And also ourselves, very important to practice pure perceptions. Then we never break the violation of samaya. That's very important. And also there is another Lama's story. Likewise, we find in the Vajrasatttva of the Siddhi Ujjainpa. Ujjainpa is also Kajat's one master. I think it's more they are Nijeripa student, something. He is on the Vajrasatttva. He's saying that Rinpoche is his name, the beggar from the land of the snow, was defeated by no other enemies. Of course, nobody's. Then contamination by the samaya violations. And only he has problems, contamination by some samaya violent persons. But any kind of the tangible or intangible enemies cannot destroy it. Nothing. And therefore he said, and was protected by no other friend than my root teacher. That is like his Vajra says like this. Absolutely. Who can to protect? Who can give source of refuge? I think our own teachers, best friend in the samsara, best friend teachers give to us excellent boat made by Buddha. It's called the Dharma boat. And also these teachers give to us excellent friend, families, compassionate Sangha, and showing how we can to cross the ocean of the samsara. And if these teachers to us help in order to cross the samsara and bring to other shore of the nirvana, that is the best friend who can give this kind of the excellent present. Nobody's, only through the teachers, our own. To break the samaya of the Vajrayana is the great fault. But to keep them is extremely difficult. Most time, what difficult? Maybe, I don't know really. But if like kind of difficult to practice pure perception, you know, we have problems. How I can to practice pure perception? Look in the worldly, natural disaster, violence, war, killing each other. How I can to this kind of how I can to practice pure perception? Maybe my teachers, lamas, monks, they are eating, drink, fighting. Wow, how I can to practice pure perceptions? Then is problems very difficult, extremely difficult. But reality is no need to put effort, no need to buy, no need to pay monies or food, clothes. Just mentally to keep perfectly pure perceptions and not difficult. And this, therefore, sometimes we say, we would be totally wrong to suppose, without checking carefully, that you are keeping them faithfully and to feel proud about it. Sometimes we have this feeling, I'm all the time practice perception, I never violent any kind of the root samayas, I'm perfect. But there are others, defects. Many times we are talking. For example, maybe it's like some aeroplanes crashed. Maybe 100, 200 people inside. Why is this collect to these peoples? When they make same negative action together, how at the same amount of the obscuration, the negative result there is. This we are talking a lot. But sometimes maybe there is some strong result, maturations coming. And then it's the effect can curse. Joatisha, I think, or another one master, he went to in the hunger ghost Ralamas. Of course, he is a free mind. Even he go to any kind of low Ralamas, no problem. But on the hunger ghost Ralamas, like kind of he has affection, like the contaminated hunger ghost Ralamas, and he become thirsty. And he says, like, where do you have some water? All the hunger goes running after. What do you talking? Where's water? Why you say water? And this kind of the affection or influence can occur. Therefore, he says, you should to keep daily to practice mental recitation, confession of the Vajrasattva. Otherwise, of course, maybe you yourself, like a little proudly about, I kept everything fantastic. I should have any kind of violation of samayat. But sometimes you make association, maybe someone others. This is can't possible to contaminate to us. And also it's like, here is mentioned, the Tantra explained that to forget for a single instant, to identify your body, speech, and mind with the three mandala is the transgress, the Tantra samayas. Hence the difficulty of the keeping them. That is also like kind of the pure perceptions you can't say. Three door is like meditate three mandalas. What is the mandala? Body is the mandala of the deity. And verb is the mandala of the mantra. And mind is the mandala of the samadhis. Concentration. These three mandalas you all the time need to keep if you receive authentic empowerment. That means it's like you need to body yourself, all the other sentient beings is like considered as deities. And all the sounds, included your sound, all the sounds, sound of the water, earth, element, sentient beings, but everything is mental, like during the Vajrasattva mantras. This is speech mandala of the mantras. And mind is a mandala all the time is for concentration, samadhi. Not kind of have idea of the ordinaries. This is like kind of Samandas mandalas, these three mandala of the three draw of the body, speech, minds. If you lost something a little bit, distracted, maybe you have affection of the samaya violations. And of course, this kind of to check the more and more in the details, there are said to be 100,000 samayas, very large number, according to the Tantras. To break them will bring following evil acts as lot kind of the it's can possible to break. And in this situation, it's like to keep daily practice, confession and mental recitation of the Bodhisattva. We can just stop a little bit. I don't know. I'm sleeping. I am sleepy. Good night.